Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece, episode 871. So, I'll start off with the obvious, which is the art and animation. The art and animation this week, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't as on the ball, at least compared to last week's, but that's, it's one of those things that when you get an episode like pretty much like the episode last week, you pretty much expect that there is going to be a dip in quality, and and especially when you get an episode like last week's where the art and animation just looks like they pretty much blew every single damn cent on the animation, every single damn cent of the animation budget on that episode. So yeah, it's one of those things where yeah, the art and animation, it was back to being at the release on the exact same on the exact same on the same kind of quality that we've come to expect from One Piece thus far, or at least in these newer episodes of One Piece. But yeah, so it was on that acceptable standard quality, so to speak. But like I said, it's kind of to be expected after last week, after the hype of last week. Um, which I again, it's all good. Now with that being now with this being now with this being the episode that concludes the fight with Katakuri, I I decided to go back and remind myself of how long the fight has been going on, and to my surprise, in terms of this whole Katakuri fight from pretty much when it started to at this point where it's ended, to my surprise, the fight has only lasted for about 20 episodes. And the reason as to why that surprises me so much is because despite how much I could obviously tell that basically Toei was of course was basically stretching out this fight, that there was something there's kind of this weird there was kind of this weird thing for me during this whole fight, is that despite how much I knew that Toei was stretching this fight out, there was something about this fight where week to week, it felt shorter than most of the other final battles that we've had in the One Piece time skip up to this point. Like even knowing as to how many episodes of the fight have been going on, it still somehow felt shorter than of course the fight with Horty. It felt shorter than the fight with Doflamingo. It just yeah, there's something about the Luffy and Katakuri fight that just felt like just felt like it was a little shorter than basically anything I expect than I expected it to be. Like yeah, I mean I'm sure that I'm sure that other fights have lasted a shorter amount of time, but yeah, this particular fight, it didn't seem like it lasted all that long to be as all that long, or as long as I thought it did. So yeah, I don't know, just actually, this is one thing I would really like to know. Like to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. If you thought similarly as I do, if this fight, even despite knowing how stretched out it was, it definitely felt a little shorter than most than most of the One Piece anime fights in the post time skip. But yeah, just let me down below in the comment section about that. What do you think? Because yeah, it definitely felt shorter to me anyway. Um, Also, as you guys know, okay, so also, okay, so what I'm about to say is kind of like pretty much for basically anyone out there who hasn't caught up to this point yet, who hasn't caught up to this particular point in the manga. What I'm about to say is on the is definitely on the level of spoilers. So yeah, and so what I'm about to say is a bit of a spoiler, of course, but after seeing so much of Sanji and Pudding in this episode, I have to say it. I definitely can't control myself any longer, which is that yeah, I've been hyping it up, but to see the romance between Sanji and Pudding like basically coming to an end like it was in this episode. Like I'm not giving it. I'm giving that's basically the spoiler, guys. Like pretty much after this, like the romance between Pudding and Sanji is done, and you could probably tell just because inconspicuously the I think the last time we see Sanji in the episode, Pudding is gone. So that definitely indicates that of course something happened, and the thing is with like just kind of seeing the romance between Pudding and Sanji and like it did was beautifully handled to the point where I say it was even more emotionally heavy than it was in the manga. And like, okay, you see in order pretty much what basically happened in that scene is that Pudding pretty much took every single roll of tape of every single bit of every single every bit of strip of Sanji's memory of her, and she snipped it away. That's basically what happened. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much putting she basically erased all of Sanji's memories of her in this episode. That's basically what happened, and and what makes Pudding erasing Sanji's memory of her so impactful is that in many respects their romance was just getting started, but because of everything that happened, that basically happened with between Big Mom, the Vinsmokes, and the Straw Hats, it realistic speaking, the romance between Sanji and Pudding, it just couldn't happen. It didn't have any kind of future. There wasn't any kind of future for them, and to answer the question of why Pudding didn't just go to the Straw Hats, well, the simple answer there is that despite all the abuse she suffered because of Big Mom, I see that Pudding pretty much still loves everyone else in her family, even if they may or may not return the same sentiment. And and in Pudding's case, like the one thing we have to understand more than anything else is that Pudding has been through hell, and it wasn't just from wasn't even just from her family, but everyone treated her like shit. So it's one of those things where we're just, as long as Pudding knows that there's at least one person out there who loves her for pretty much who she is, then to her that was pretty much then that alone was definitely good enough of a reason in order to do the only thing that Pudding could in order to save Sanji, who is the one person who she loved more than anything else, which was to erase his memory. And yeah, and of course going off the whole whole theme of fairy tales in this whole fairy tale theme with Whole Cake Island arc. It ended in albeit a little bit less of a bloody way than basically than the whole story of basically Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, putting in just Pudding in Sanji was the romance that it just wasn't meant to be. It's really kind of emotional and sad. It really is. And the anime just did beautifully at handling all that. So yeah, what more can I say? It was just done just the way that the scene was handled. It was done amazingly. And yeah, the fight with Katakuri was pretty much over in this episode, so I was really kind of worrying over nothing with this episode, but that doesn't mean it still wasn't epic in its own way, because between Katakuri acknowledging Luffy's strength by asking if he's going to come back to challenge Big Mom and falling on his back, I felt that those two moments in itself were the perfect bookend, or the perfect way in order to bookend this fight between two fighters that just held the utmost respect for each other. And in terms of Katakuri's question, I think he asked that almost knowing that he was gonna get a rematch one day with Luffy, and you could tell just from his expression after Luffy answered him that it's definitely a rematch he's looking forward to. Like Katakuri, he legitimately throughout this whole fight, Katakuri legitimately enjoyed himself. So Katakuri. So yeah, I just love the amount of respect that Katakuri has for Luffy at this point. It's kind of amazing the development that that he himself as the antagonist of this arc has gained that the antagonist like Katakuri has gained just as much as development and maybe even more so than Luffy has. Like I think that Luffy, he gained all the physical development with him learning the future sight abilities, But Katakuri, I think he gained a lot of the more emotional development, almost like he just really didn't even give a shit about after a certain point in the fight. He just really didn't give a shit about anything else, and I love that. Um, so yeah, let's talk about Peckham's in this episode, because yeah, with him wearing that wrestler mask, he's definitely taking a page from basically Usopp's book. And I'm not sure if he's gonna fool anyone with that sort of excuse from this guys, but yeah, you gotta at least applaud him for trying. And at least now with Peckham's appearance, I'd say that Luffy has a little extra help in his escape. Because yeah, if there's anything that in terms of this episode proved is that the battle with Katakuri, it took a lot out of Luffy, like even more so than I'd say than a majority of the fights. So yeah, Luffy is just in no condition to do any kind of escaping, especially from the small army that's waiting for him when he exits the mirror. Um, exits the mirror. Also, no lie. In terms of the preview, in terms of the preview for the next episode, the preview actually reminded me of a moment that I had completely forgotten about in the manga, where Peckham's does pretty much go through the exact same transformation that pretty much that pretty much Carrot does. So yeah, that gives us something pretty cool to look forward to next week. Although it's still, let's be real, as cool as Peckham's pretty much going into Sulong form is gonna be, it ain't gonna top Carrot's display of power. Let's get that straight. So yeah. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and you list at Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Enemy, signing off. Later, guys.